I suppose you do have a point there because that fight in the beginning when he before he went to the college and they was talking about him, when the guy must have like hit him on his back and he was like that,
He was like,
and then he was like, hey, and then he went and slapped me like, yeah, that one, I loved it. Welcome back to another Chatterbox movie review. I'm Sean, and as usual, I've got my partner in crime. You know who it is. It's the ladies' love with that $1 million smile.
yo.
Yeah, you doing all right? How you feeling?
Yeah, man. All good, man.
Good. Now, today we will be reviewing Tamil hit film Master, which tells a story of when an alcoholic professor is sent to a juvenile school where he clashes with a gangster who uses the school children for criminal activities. The film was directed by Lokesh Kanagaraj and stars Joseph Vijay and Vijay Sethupathi. Now, first things first, was this film a hit or was this film a miss?
It was definitely a hit, man. I enjoyed the acting, the writing, the fighting. I just loved it. So a hit for me.
I would have to agree with you on that one. For me, loved every second of this film. It was definitely 100% a hit. Now, Master had a very real story which covered topics such as gang culture, alcohol abuse, and redemption. But how well did the director do with the film transition by keeping the main plot and the subplots connected throughout?
I think he done really well. He had a lot of time, like it was a decently length movie, so he had a lot of time to get everything going, like for the plots and the subplots, and he done well with the establishing the villain and the hero, and characters that were in the beginning came back towards the end for a good reason as well. So I think he handled it all well, to be honest.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. Like you said there, he really connected it well. You know, all the different characters, the introductions, everything. Great. It was brilliant. Now, as far as films go, JD and Bhavani's character introductions were two of the best introductions I've seen in a long time. But which one stood out for you the most? And I know this is going to put you on the spot because the film was great, but I really want to see what you think about this one.
Yeah, this is a difficult one, and like when thinking about it, I go back and forth. But if I was like you have to pick one, I'm gonna go with Bhavani's because he was a little kid. He was young. His introduction of when he was younger and begging for his life with the elders, and then him being put in the home, and then showing his rise to the top and everything he went through. And I just loved that. Like from young child to man, I think that just edges because they were both great, really great introductions to both characters. But his was, my favorite, the best out of the two.
Yo, again, I can't disagree with you because for me, I just think, you know what? I think it is like, I've watched quite a lot of Asian films from Tamil, Hindi, Telugu, you name it. But I think he was a very unique villain in this film because you don't get it that often that, you know, like you said, it covers things from the beginning and you know, that much of a story on the actual villain. It normally centers around, you know, the hero or the star of the film as such. So it was a bit of a different spin, but it was one that I really liked because it gave sort of like a different perspective to you know, making films and how they can actually bridge those pieces to the story. So for me, excellent job there by the writers of the screenplay and I mean the director as well. Now, following up from the intros of the two main stars of the film, I've got to ask another question which ties into these two characters. Now, both Joseph and VJ put in some masterful performances, pardon the pun. But was there anyone else in the film that stood out for you that you think is worth a shout?
Yes, I'd just like to say, yes, it is their movie, though. It's their movie. But I will say I did for two characters stood out for me, which is the boss child, should I say, like who's in the gang like culture, like, and he's just like he's just a little boss, like he was really good. And Daz with his deep voice, like he stood
Yeah,
out for me. Like even though like he's not a good he's a good character, but not a good person, should we say? But he stood out like because he was a to watch. It was good. Like even though like you don't like what his character does, it was good to watch. So yeah, he stood out for me.
yeah, yeah. I definitely would have to agree with you there. Daz was an outside shout, but I think the little boy, he
Mm.
was special. He was special in this film. So I agree with you there.
I have there are you know what I want to give a shout out to the two other characters actually,
Yeah.
which is the the election in the beginning with the two characters, the one who has a dad, the awful dad, and the lady, like, and they have a little love
Oh yeah,
connection. I did like
yeah.
that. Like that. It wasn't too big, but I can't, it did stick in my head, so I did like that with those two characters.
Yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying. I think it was like a really good moment in the film, especially
Mm,
where they sort of, come together and had that sort of, you know, they made up for like,
yeah.
all the past differences that they had. So I thought that was a special moment. So I would agree with you on that one. All right, now this is a little bit different. I've got some quick fire questions for you. So I want to get your thoughts on a few of the things from this film. The things I want you to answer is what was your most shocking moment, touching moment, and favorite moment from the film?
Okay, the most shocking moment was the kids getting hanged, basically, they're getting killed. Like that was horrible. Like, and when he went to see, and he saw them hanging there, and he was just great acting, great reactions he did, but it was heartbreaking. Yeah, it was just too much, man. It was just too much. The
Yeah.
second one was my favorite moment. Oh no, touching moment. Okay, the most touching moment. It's a weird one because it was kind of out of those kids dying
Hmm.
and him giving up alcohol, giving up the
Yeah.
bottles. But what led up to it is the lady friend showing him the mum and all that and telling him about himself and how it was his fault and he should have done this and should have done that. So it kind of led up to the touching moment with him giving up alcohol and like kind of like you see him like comforting the mum and stuff of the kids that died. So yeah, all that mixed up together was my touching moment. Um, Favorite moment is the first dance, like when they're trying to get him to get out of the sofa and come to the college, like, and that dance is just excellent. Like the energy from him, from the other dancers, all the characters, it just got me going. Like, and I love just getting in the groove and just dancing. So that brought me so much joy, and that was my favorite moment.
Yeah, and I've got to agree with you on a few of those there, but I do think one of the shocking moments, I know it probably wasn't as shocking as the boys, but when Bhavani overtook one of the other gang leaders, and when he was just punching his face, it was like, and he didn't stop to the point where you could hear the guy's face squishing in the wall, and that guy had some meat punch on him. So yeah, for me, whoa, he had a mad punch on him, boy. And
Mm.
yeah, just the sound, it was a sound. Jeez, I really didn't expect that to happen. When I talk about touching moments, his epiphany as well, understanding that he had a part to play in the boys passing away, and seeing that he had that realization that maybe the drinking he's doing and the way that he's destroying his own life had an impact not only on himself but also on the boys ending up in trouble when he wasn't there to help them. So I think for me, that was really touching, seeing him sort of just taking that all in and having that realization and epiphany moment. And then when it comes for favorite moment, I would say that's definitely right up there, his intro where he has that big dance in the town with all the people there with him. But another little special moment though was when he was in the juvenile home with the little boys, and he was singing that song, Getting to Know the Boys. And I can't remember the actual lyrics of the song, but I loved that moment.
Was it Listen to Me or something? Or I can't remember. Listen to me. I can't remember how it goes, but it was something like that.
It was like catchy, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he sang in English, and he said, "Why are you singing in English?" And he went into it.
Yeah, it was a really catchy song, and I liked it. It was a nice little moment when you first met them. So yeah, that was for me. But definitely some good answers. And moving on from your mention of JD's intro when he had that performance in the town, how could we do a master review without mentioning the music? Now, what did you make of the music?
It was excellent. It was a big part of what made this movie so good. Like the music, like the introductions of both characters, the music, the dancing with the music. Like, it just was a big part of it. Like, and I loved the music just as much as I liked everything else. I loved everything else, like the acting, the writing. So yeah, everything just came together nicely. Music was a big part.
Yeah, definitely. I love the music from the moment we started watching it. Master the Blaster. It was just that song was just so catchy, man. I just kept humming it the whole way through the film. It was kind of like a little theme song going on in the background. So yeah, definitely. Interesting fact though, the Master album has collectively crossed 1,500 million views on TikTok. So I don't think it was just us who loved that music from the film. As usual, the question has to be asked. Was there anything about this film that you would have done different or would change?
As much as I loved it, yes, actually. Basically, like I said, like that was a great moment with him like giving up the alcohol and like saying, you know what, this tragedy has happened. Like I have to get myself together. Love that. What I would have liked to seen is a bit of struggle with that, because it was like he gave up. He's like, I'm not going to drink alcohol, and that was it. Like no struggle with it. Like they could have just done a little scene maybe where, like, because lots of things happen after that, bad things to him. Like just a little struggle with like the alcohol in his hand, and he's like thinking about it but doesn't do it. Just something. I thought that was like it's a little like criticism, but it's still something I thought of there. And the last fight scene between them two, like I liked all the fight scenes, but that one I just felt could have been better. And like all the hype as well of them gonna meet each other, and that was the weakest fight scene out of everything, because I enjoyed all the other fight scenes more than that one, to be honest. So I just feel like they could have done something better with that for me.
I suppose you do have a point there. I didn't really think of that, by the way, but I suppose you do have a point there, because that fight in the beginning, when he before he went to the college and they was talking about him, when the guy must have like hit him on his back and he was like that, and then he was like, hey, and then he went and slapped me like. Yeah, that one I loved it. That was a wicked fight scene. So yeah, I suppose you start off a film so well with all of the fight, the choreography and stuff like that, I suppose you do have to end it big. So you do have a point there. Although I must admit, I didn't think of that as something that I would have changed in the film.
You know what? Just to piggyback off that, like there was another bit where he got the guy's head and just the windows, like put it through those windows. That bit was great.
Yeah.
And there's another bit where he just goes to the guy straight and he just puts his head on the ground like boom, like, and that bit was just excellent. So that's why, because I was so hyped with everything else, and it's like it's kind of disappointing the last fight, but yeah.
Well, finally, the main question, the only question that everyone mainly turns up to hear is how many stars you would give this film.
You know what? Like I said, because of those criticisms I gave it, I would say I'll give this a 4.5 stars out of 5. Like it was an excellent movie, but it wasn't perfect, which hardly any movie is. But yeah, it was great, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Like I loved it, loved it.
I would have to agree with you on that one for the simple fact that this film was, I think it must have been like 3 hours long or 3 hours longish. And I watched that film and I enjoyed it the whole way. I didn't sit down thinking to myself, oh, when is this film going to end? I was just enjoying every moment of it. So for me, I would agree, 4.5 stars. It kept me gripped. It had action in there. It had a great story. It touched on several different emotions. There was great music in there. Wicked performances by both Joseph and VJ for me. So a great introduction to the two actors for me, because that was the first two films I've seen them in, and hopefully I'll get to see a lot more because I was really, really impressed. So that has been our review of Master. As you can see, we both really enjoyed it, and therefore, as we've said, this one gets 4.5 stars. Now, if you like what you've seen, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. And also, if you're feeling generous, please don't forget to share, because we want to bring more people into the Chatterbox family so that we can keep bringing you this really good content that we enjoy doing. So, I'm Sean. You know who I've got with me. It's a special one with the $1 million smile the ladies love. So please stay tuned for the next review, and we're signing out. Peace.